I love you guys.
I love you too.
So we're back, and what is it that you usually say? If you do something once, you can do it by accident. Twice, it's still a mistake. When you do it 3 times, it's fine.
I've never heard that saying.
Thrice.
No, I usually say
charm.
that.
Yeah,
thrice the charm.
Yeah.
3 times is a tradition.
Exactly.
I thought Jacob was referring to the fool me once, shame on me, shame on you, or something.
Shame on me. Oh, whatever.
Well, you're not destroying what I'm trying to say here. I'm just trying to say that we're back for the 3rd time at Great Beards of Westeros, and I'm having a great time.
You could have just said that, but anyway, I'm having a great time too.
Me too.
Yeah, and today we're joined by our fabulous guest, our neighbor in Nordics who have fled and are now in exile in another island just west of us. Evan, welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have a gentleman and a scholar of your dignity on this cast.
Let's stick with gentleman. Not sure about scholar.
I'm not sure, guys, how we've managed to do this, but it's the 3rd episode in a row which we have a red beard as a guest.
Yeah, the only color that matters.
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess Buzz has got a great influence on us. That's what I'm taking out.
He's an inspiration to all, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, Evan, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Evan.
Who are you behind that great beard?
I'm originally from the only country that matters, Norway. But I'm currently living in Edinburgh, Scotland, with my little perfectly formed meta here. I'm also 1/3 of the traveling Norwegian meta that does the occasional guest appearance and have such past achievements as not coming last at the Stalic team competition.
When you said little and perfectly formed, I was thinking about your wife, but okay.
Well, she's part of my meta, but there are other people there as well.
Okay.
So,
what's up with your cap today?
It's opening day of baseball, and sadly, St. Louis lost to the Pirates. Shocking. Passable spring training performance, and then let us down in the first match of the season. It's not.
It's a very long season, though.
Yeah, but why finish it quickly if you can enjoy it as long as possible?
Exactly.
So looking forward to the World Series again this year.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So with that very short introduction, let's just kick off the show. Oh, great. So after that short introduction and our very beautiful intro song, let's just jump straightly to the topic of the week, which I would say is quite interesting this week. We're obviously talking with Evan here, and Evan, you're well known for your traveling in Europe, for your great beard, and especially for, like we said, being the Viking in exile in Scotland. Yeah. And you're also quite well known because you are playing pretty much everything that one can play in LCG-wise, correct?
That is an unfortunate affliction of mine, yes. Why limit yourself to one thing when you can do everything mediocre? That's my motto.
But you did quite well in one of the LCGs, not Thrones though, at Worlds.
Yes, I accidentally snuck into the cut for Conquest, Warhammer Conquest, which is the most recent of their LCGs. Very interesting game, quite taxing on the brain, quite a tactical little masterpiece, designed by Brad Andrus and the rest of the boys. But yeah, somehow I survived the first day and then had to play in the cut. Quickly fell out of that, but at that stage I was just ecstatic to have won more than I lost, to be honest. That's always the motto of any LCGs tournament. Don't lose more than you win, and you'll be happy. I know you guys operate on a slightly different level than that, but hey, I take what I can.
But hey, you've got a great beard, so I mean, you compensate for whatever other things that you lose at.
Yeah, I think that probably gave me the edge in that game, because there was a lot of, to be fair, there was a lot of young men lacking beards in that tournament. It was fun, but it was slightly tragic to see, to be honest. So,
yeah, that sort of leads us into the core of this topic, which is how would you compare the beardedness of the Thrones meta versus other games?
Yeah, no, I think in short, the Thrones metas I know definitely have a significant edge on most of the other games. I wouldn't say that they're all babyface players in the other games, but there's not the same dedication to the beard, I think. My local Scottish Conquest meta is now doing really well. I can only assume that they saw how I did at Worlds last year and have all taken inspiration to that. But yeah, I think in general, the Netrunner metas I see around the UK and other places, they just don't seem to have that inclination. I don't know, it's to some degree, it's the same for Star Wars, although there you have Tommy won Worlds last year having respectable facial hair. But I don't know if there's something about asymmetric games, Netrunner and Star Wars LCG, that doesn't attract the big beards.
You kind of, so what you're trying to say is that when you play two games in one, you have to compensate. You have to try and become two different people. And having a great beard is kind of difficult. You're kind of too
with
much
a great
into one
beard
kind of
comes
person.
a great honesty, I think, which possibly interferes with that dual mentality of these asymmetric games. It's quite possible, and I think the test case of this will be when Legend of Firebrand comes out in next year, and see how that, because I assume that will probably be a non-asymmetric game, and we'll see how the beardiness of that game and the meta develops. I'm expecting some great Eastern influenced facial hair coming from that.
Yeah, people rocking the Fu Manchu, the big, the fish whisker style.
The tash is something that's close to my heart, to be honest. So yeah, that's going to be that could be a cracker.
Yeah,
really, truly.
So the mandatory question is, will you play that game?
I'm of course not planning to get another LCG, but
hey, who are we fooling?
Who are we fooling? Right.
Yeah, I might have put in a pre-order of 3 core sets already, even though they're not released. Who knows?
Yeah, even though maybe this is the first time they're shipping a core set with a full playset of cards. You're still getting 3 because that's what you do, right?
Yeah, should we do a bet on that? If they release a full core set with the full playset, you shave off your beard?
Oh, wow.
No. I'm not even sure if that's possible.
Wow, those are some high stakes.
Yeah, I don't think I would put any stakes on that, to be honest.
No.
I mean, one could bet on very many things, but including your beard in that, it's not a wise choice.
No, I think that'd be too much. The bear would fight back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, just a follow-up question too. You say that you said babyface in the middle there. Do you think that any of the other games have a younger audience, or would you say that the Thrones players are just more mature? Or does it have anything to do with that?
Tend to be slightly older, I guess, but also just more hirsute. There is something about the calling of the game towards great intellects and great beards at the same times.
Those things go very well hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's an interesting question because, related to the LCGs, we have the X-Wing miniature game, which is obviously a huge success for Fantasy Flight games. Yeah. And I think that game, in my experience, tends to attract a bit older players as well. I don't know if you have any experience with that, with the game, Evan, or if you relate to that.
I try to avoid the plastic crack as much as possible, to be honest. So
makes sense.
If you again look at Worlds and the final there, I don't think older players necessarily is the norm there either. That's definitely some young people who can show us a trick or two about flying spaceships. So yeah.
But the thing I wanted to say is that even older players seem to be somewhat, I don't want to say like deficit in the beard growth department, but it doesn't seem to be a priority, in the sense that I feel that, since we started this podcast, it seems like a lot of people are acknowledging this primal need inside them to grow a beard, which I think a lot of us can relate to as well. I mean, we all felt the calling to greatness and beardedness.
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of how twisted society is today that men feel the need to shave. I mean, it's a shame. I think it's time for people to stand up for their rights and not feel forced to shave anymore. I think, yeah. Gillette and Wilkinson have a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually close my eyes when those things happen on TV.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah. It was an inspiring segment last week, and I'm glad you touched on the topic, which we probably don't want to think too much about, but yeah.
It's
so maybe talk about other games then. I think it's worth noting that if you look at Thrones, it does have a game, and the art has a fantastic history of beards, while if you look at Star Wars Conquest, there's not the same. Han Solo was not rocking a big beard. I don't think Darth Vader had much facial hair underneath that mask.
To be fair, though,
Chewie was a notable exception to that, but yeah, generally not much strong facial hair going there.
Yeah, I was going to say Han compensated his own lack of facial hair by being friends with the most hairy guy in the universe, probably.
Yeah. And I think it says a lot when you kind of think about the bearded guy in Star Wars. You think of, I don't know, Lando perhaps, which is, I mean, he's got facial hair, but it's not really much to write home about.
I mean, he's more like a Freddie Mercury in the Star Wars universe, isn't he?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I was going to say Ben Kenobi, but they kind of kill off him pretty quickly, right?
Is that prejudiced? Possibly.
I think so. It
definitely send a signal.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, because George Lucas has always had a pretty nice, it's not long. I think he trims it too much. He would look great in a, bit, more volume and thickness in his beard. But
I think his actions show that he's lacking the wisdom to really pull off a great beard.
Yeah. And I mean, we can probably, we see his lack of judgment in other areas of his life, and artistic integrity and things like that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing, we're drifting off topic here, but I just gotta add that it seems like George Lucas kind of made every other hairy guy in the Star Wars universe speak a language we don't understand. Just look at Chewie and the Ewoks. I mean,
or the Wolfman.
Yeah.
It probably says something about it. It probably has a deeper meaning, how George Lucas didn't really understand really, really bearded people.
No, probably not. And he probably, like us, felt the urge to grow the beard, but he was still restrained by society and just didn't understand that he was meant to keep going.
True.
That's
true.
Deep.
So true. That's deep. Profound. Awesome.
I mean,
So,
that's definitely a topic for a special episode. We got to have you back, Evan, for that.
Well, I think
Yeah.
there's a few good Star Wars podcasts, and it might be worth doing a crossover with the Jedi Council or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Sounds like
Great Beards of Tatooine or something.
Not bad, not bad.
Do they
We have
have
to limit
beards?
ourselves to.
I mean,
Yes.
if you get some Wookiees on, they could probably tell us a thing or two about grooming.
True. I wonder what the budget for their beard tonic would be.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
should we try and
Oh, yeah.
leave that topic there?
Yeah.
And just
I
go
think
on.
I think since you do the excellent honorable mention segment, I think one part that does deserve honorable mention is the Space Wolves people thingies in the Warhammer universe. They generally have some epic facial hair and wolfish Viking tendencies, so they have at least made a nod towards somebody decent in the whole franchise.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people lacking facial hair. Generally, aliens are smooth-skinned or carpused, but there are at least some decent bearded folks involved.
That is true.
True.
Probably the guys that Eric Lang got to work close with.
Yeah, true.
So I think we're moving on to. You mentioned the honorable mention. We're getting to the honorable mention of the only game that matters, which is the Game of Thrones, and we have a good one here. Or do we have? Did I skip the beard of the week? Did I
Yes,
skip
yes,
run
you did.
right into
Yeah.
honorable mention? Sorry,
Everybody
I
else were holding their breath. Is it gonna? Oh.
Yeah,
I was so pumped. Sorry.
my world was turned over.
Yeah, beard of the week. I think I made a short list of beard of the week as soon as you guys started making this podcast in your inspired way a couple of weeks ago, and Ryan Jones rightfully brought up the Drowned Men last week, and I think when it comes to beards, they are an inspiration. So just like being on the show after Ryan Jones is a bit like jumping after Ricola, I think coming up with a suitable beard of the week is also difficult. So I think for me personally, I lean naturally towards the mustache, and the characters so far who definitely have the best mustache in the game is Vaccaro.
Comment to that.
Probably a card that doesn't see much play, and I can imagine all the thousands of listeners we have at the moment, they're eagerly digging through their collection to find this card. And yet, I think it has that striking combination of good facial hair, both on the upper lip and on the chin. He's got a powerful pose as well. He's not just standing there, sitting there, holding a beard. He's out there in the fray, shaping the future of Westeros with his beard and mustache. And he's proud of it. I think that's what you get from that art.
He's definitely holding up that upper lip in a very, very sensitive way for being a blood rider, I would say.
Yes. I can imagine there will be criticism leveled at him because it's questionable how much wax he's using.
Mm.
It is slightly drooping.
It is. On the other hand, the tip is extremely tight. You can see that. There's no sort
bushiness.
of no bushiness.
This is not a squirrel's tail.
No, it's true. So he's definitely working on it, keeping it waxed. Probably, well, it's hard to see because of all the blood in the picture, but he probably has a small can of mustache wax in his pocket pants.
Yeah. Oh, do you think it's possible that he just waxes it with the blood of his enemies?
Could be.
Oh,
I
That's a strong.
mean, He's probably killing
that's
a lot
hardcore.
of. He's probably killing a lot of people with thick blood. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't question it.
Mm-hmm.
He does have the look of a man who could easily pull that trick off.
Yeah, it's not something we endorse on this podcast, naturally. To wax your tips with the blood of your enemies.
You should probably stick with natural beeswax. That's my inclination in this case.
Yep. If you want to go natural, go with something like that. True.
Yeah.
Even though I mean most blood-based mustache wax are probably organic, so I don't know. If you feel like you want to do something
I can
for the
imagine
environment.
at least in Westeros, most human blood is probably organic. That's probably true.
Yeah.
Because I think it's interesting if you compare the mustache level in general, especially in the core set, it's not great. I think Roderick Castle has come in as a reasonable contender. It's nowhere near the Rakara level, but he does show a dedication to the upper lip again.
Yeah, definitely.
Not much of a tip, but he's a clean, basic, stiff upper lip here. I think you can't deny many honorable mention on the mustache side to left and right, perhaps.
Yeah.
For the handlebars.
Those handlebars.
Full continuity. They're a sight to behold.
Yep.
I mean, they're definitely a throwback to the 70s.
So,
back to Rokaro, I just got to say that if you look at his flavor text as well, it says, "As you say, I do, blood of my blood." So, I mean, there is definitely a hint towards that stiff upper lip going hand in hand with blood of the enemies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the art now, and that is a fierce look, and is not the man I want to get tangled in the beards with.
True. Hashtag tangled in the beards.
Definitely.
So that's
no
a really good
stick handling with that guy.
No. You don't want to get into you want to drop don't want to drop the gloves with this guy.
Nope.
So that's the beard of the week. And next up we have honorable mention. And who is it, Evan?
I've gone for a character we don't, I assume, yet have in second edition. Harkening back to the good old LCG days with, and also to the books and TV show, Dario Naharis. As a mustache man, you've got to respect the man who colors his mustache gold and his three-pronged beard blue. I think that's just tip your cap to that man. That is dedication. So there is no arc for him in second edition yet, but if you go back to beyond the first edition LCG to the CCG area, there's a fantastic card in the Iron Throne edition, in the House of Talon set, where you really show a man who dedicates himself to the mustache. I think he's got his classic three-pronged beard. It's not clear how blue it is, but that is a tight golden mustache. I mean, if you look at the tip, the twirl of that tip, you can go through. Yeah, that man goes through a battle, slays his enemies, and he comes back, and that mustache looks fresh, like when he got up in the morning.
I have to say that usually when I see a card and I see a card that I haven't seen in a while or haven't seen ever, like this Dario Naharis, I tend to be a bit distracted by the cost of the card, the strength, the icons, and the text and the traits. But this card, I honestly, I don't even know what it does. I'm stuck looking at this beautiful man.
I don't think that the mechanics really fall by the wayside when it comes to the art in this case. That's the eyes. I mean, when you look at this card, you can see why Danny gets weak in the knees.
Definitely.
Yep. I mean, I get weak in the knees, and I'm sitting down.
Luckily.
I mean, I feel like Doran sitting here. It's crazy. So, I mean, he's striking a pose that is just, I mean, I guess that's a natural actual pose to him. He probably goes up maybe an hour before everyone else in the morning, waxes his tips, curls his hair, put some great grade pomade in his beard, and he just walks out, looks at the sunrise, strikes that pose, and oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's about to tuck into some serious breakfast with that look.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I can just see the greasy bacon dripping off of that tip.
Yeah. And I think clearly George R. R. Martin's writing has been a fantastic influence for the artist in this case, and tip my cap to both Martin and the artist. And I think it's worth mentioning the disaster that was the TV series where they cast a man without the beard in the role as Dario. I mean,
twice, right?
Well, when they recast it, at least they had some fuzz on his face, but there was no. We're not talking about a beard and definitely not a mustache.
It's difficult to
Facial hair
see
is
if it's
enough.
painted on or if it's real, to be honest.
Yeah.
But man,
So
you've made something great here, Evan. You managed to make Dario both honorable and dishonorable mention at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's easy to rip into the TV series, so I don't think we should let that overshadow the epic beauty that is this CCG card.
We are demanding a reprint of this art.
Indeed, when it comes to second edition, I would be very pleased to see this, and I think that it's an interesting one, and I think it clearly shows the force of the beard when you look back at the LCG and early LCG and also a lot of the CCG. There's a lot of weak art there, but this beard clearly just brought out the muses for the artist early days.
It compensates for those dragon fears, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So is Dario Naharis the hipster of Westeros?
Well, depends whether you want to include him in Westeros or not. Has he ever been to Westeros, or has he stuck it out in the East all the time?
Isn't he Cold Hands?
Depends on if he is Coldlands or if he's Euron.
Yeah.
And Benjen.
Depends on what.
And
Depends
Benjen.
on what theories you subscribe
Ooh,
to.
Benjen, that's a bold move. That would explain why Benjen hasn't been seen for a while.
That's true.
Obviously.
He went to Essos and seduced Targaryen queen.
Yeah.
Just like it was like a regular Thursday for him.
I mean, it's not every day that you've got a blue beard. You got to take care of.
Yeah.
You can only
Perhaps
do that in the
perhaps
sunny
there
place.
is something about this attraction between the Starks and the Targaryens.
I would think so.
Probably.
Possible.
Yeah. Just a quick comment on this card before we think we move on to the next section. Is that you see this card was printed in 2007. I think it was probably quite a short while before they.
I think it was the second to
the
last cycle before they converted to and the last cycle wasn't even completed.
No, that's true.
In the CCG format. So I think this.
Yeah.
So I think this might have been the first. I'm probably going to be corrected by Ingemar here, but I think this was the first cycle where they did the LCG templating, as we refer to it as.
Yeah, I think they probably reasoned that after they printed this card or they saw the proofs for it, they were like, "How are we going to top this? What should we do?" And then someone came up with, "Well, should we just like reboot the game or transition to a new format? What are we going to do?" This card was probably the main reason why that caused the move to the LCG format. Actually.
You mean people bought this card and then they just thought, "Oh, we're not going to buy any more cards of this game because now we got the ultimate card."
The only card that matters.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable.
Okay, so this week we also have a dishonorable mention in the honorable mention section.
Wow.
Who could it be?
Wow.
Ooh.
It's a topic that I've been mulling over for a while, because there was talk of beardiness of decks, and the synergy between bearded players and cards last time. And I was thinking back to the play I've seen around at various tournaments, both here and when I was in the US, and I found that there was a lot of players without beards who did well with decks that had next to no beardiness. And then I started thinking, hey, what's Nate French on about here? Is he not on tune with the beards? Is he not understanding how it should be? And that's when it really clocked me, when I looked at the least beardly card of them all, which truly is Varys. He not only doesn't have any beard, doesn't have any hair, he probably can't have any of either, but that card is so powerful, and it makes me wonder whether is an intentional step by the designers to give one of the most powerful effects in the game to not only a non-bearded card, an anti-beard card, I would say, and are the designers aiming for two separate streams? One where it's not to have as much beardiness in the deck as possible, but to have the right level of synergy between the beardiness of the players and the deck. So for us proper bearded players, we should go for the bearded decks, and for those unfortunate non-bearded players, they should go for the cheeky Varys deck and other non-bearded cards. It's a difficult topic, I think, and
it is, and
it's
it
worth looking out for as more and more cards get released.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions, because I feel like, this podcast, obviously we're glorifying the beard and trying to put it in its right place, and raising the awareness for the impact of on your game a good beard can have. So what I think is, if you continue this line of thinking, is that, do you think FFG is kind of actively promoting a greater hostility between bearded and non-bearded, the bearded and the non-bearded factions within the game?
It is definitely a dangerous possibility at this stage. We do have a limited card pool, so we could think that it's perhaps just some accidental outliers, but it's certainly possible, if not plausible, at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, the implications are huge, obviously.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but I mean, we have to have faith in FFG, that they know what they're doing, and that they don't play around with the beard levels, just like, let's see if let's throw a beard on this guy, or let's just remove the beard from this guy, or let's make this non-bearded guy have a huge splash impact effect.
It can't have been random. They must have thought about this in the playtesting stages.
Yeah,
I can only assume they have a separate category. They have joust, they have melee, and they have beardliness. The question is whether they have a separate group again for anti-beard cards.
Could be.
Yeah, I was going to say that Varys. I hear rumors about people who play tested Varys and say that his ability actually was somewhat different before the playtesting. The Interrupt said something like, when the Dominus phase ends, remove Varys from the game to discard each bearded character from play. But some of the playtesters got a bit upset about that and felt discriminated. So I guess now he removes every character, beard or not, from play. So
probably a good decision, and I think that would have been meant a completely new section in the FAQ as well. You would have to keep a list of who are the bearded characters. Some people will look at, for example, Littlefinger and ask, is that a beard? Or Davos Seaworth, is that a beard? Is that dirt on his face? What is that? So they'd have to keep a list.
And like we say, Marjorie Tyrell, is that a beard or is it a shadow? I mean, I that question is asked every day.
It's valid.
And it's a tricky one for TOs, that's for sure.
Very tricky.
TOs have a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could use it like they did with the restricted list in the 1.0, where they could add cards and remove cards. They'd have to print. So you could probably print stickers or something to put on cards if they wanted to make cards bearded afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the beard attachments.
Yeah, we did mention the beard of gold that's coming for Targaryen.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a, what did we say, plus 20 strength?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna.
that is going to be good.
Very good. All right.
So yeah,
It's,
I mean, it's definitely a dishonorable mention. Definitely.
Yeah, how can a non-bearded card be so good?
Yeah, I think it's also, why did they so quickly do an alternate art version of Varys? That's why it makes me think it's not just an accident. They're actually promoting this extremely unbearded character in both play and in people's binders. It's shocking at times, I think.
It's true, yeah. I mean, they could have used the version from the books where he is in disguise, where he's at least he's wearing. I mean, if his beard challenged, I mean, his beard growth is not what you'd expect a man of his impact would have. Then at least print a version of him with a fake beard. He has a fake beard at one point in the books. So
he's a master of disguise. He could at least do the decent thing and put one on.
Yeah, fake beard, eye patch, whatever, top hat. I don't know.
Perhaps they're thinking of a little beard attachment. Yeah.
Wow.
Might just have been a misprint. And then when they got
beard.
into the art department, it just was a slight crossed wire there that you don't know. You don't know.
I'm pretty sure that the guy who kind of designed that card is Irish or has got a very specific Irish accent or something, and he probably told the printing guys that it's a little bird.
Or from New Zealand, they struggle with those letters as well. It's not easy.
Yeah. That's true.
It's true.
Yeah, we'll never know. We'll have to get Nate or someone else on the show sometime to kind of explain the philosophy behind, bearded cards that have good impact and non-bearded cards that have, or the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Definitely.
I'm
should
just
stop
by this.
You should stop. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So Andreas, you wanna give us the next segment?
Yes, sure. I'm editing my stuff for the video here, but fine. So next up is the Tonic of the Week. And I think Evan has prepared a really nice one for us. I know I'm going to check it out.
Well, the best tonic is always gin tonic. That's more for internal use. But
like we said last
week, I can only
week,
assume it's good to dip your beard in it as well.
Probably.
But what I wanted to talk about today is a fantastic product from Mr. Bear Family, which I believe is from up your neck of the woods, from Sweden somewhere. It's their Woodland Beard Wash. It's a fantastic product for when you just want to lather up in the morning. And for the non-bearded people out there, they got a fantastic tagline: "Hurry up to furry up." And it really cleans it out. It doesn't dry out the skin. It gives the really refreshing smell. So yeah, that's definitely the product that I can recommend. It comes in a handy 250 milliliter bottle, so it doesn't run out instantly like some of the smaller products do. So yeah, try it out. Made in Sweden.
Nice.
Cool.
So
I'd also like to mention, you talked about Captain Fawcett last week. He's their excellent gentleman stiffener. And I think it's worth noting that if you go 7-8 rounds of Swiss, you have to upgrade to the expedition strength. Otherwise, you will end up drooping towards the end of the day. And that, if you want to avoid that, If you want to go to the Dario level, you probably need expedition strength to get you to that battlefield.
So, when you just start out getting a beard, I know I did this mistake. Why can't I use regular shampoo instead of this? Evan.
I find I've tried many shampoos, and I must admit I have gone through phases of shampooing my face with regular shampoo before, and some of them seem to just dry out the skin. Others seem to make the beard really tangled. I went through a period where I religiously shampooed my beard, and I found that it just gave me annoying split ends like nothing else. So I found, don't know what it is, but the beard wash really gives a untangled, nice beard. Some people swear to the beard oils. I find with a good beard wash, it doesn't really matter as much. You can go more natural. You don't
organic.
you don't get the sticky fingers. Oil on the keyboard, oil on the phone. So yeah,
Oil
there
in
you
the
go.
cards.
That's true.
Oil on the cards, yeah.
Of course, if you're in doubt, you can use both. That's probably the best thing. Do both.
I mean, you talk to many other bearded men out there, and there's definitely a subcategory whereby just use regular shampoo and conditioner. I find it doesn't necessarily work for me. Like I said at the start, some shampoos are better than others, and there's probably some shampoos that are close to beard wash and makeup. That's quite possible. So I think if you're growing a beard, just try all of them, and whatever works for you is the way to go. Most importantly, just grow a beard. I occasionally, if I'm feeling a bit drowsy in the morning, you got the original Source body wash, mint and tea tree oil. It really got a zing to it that wakes you up in the morning. Just leave it in there, and you can feel gives that mental freshness to your whole face. It's quite amazing. But again, it does seem to dry out the beard a bit, so use it in moderation.
Yeah, be careful out there, people.
See, listeners, this is some golden tips. I think you should.
Was that a Dario reference?
Oh, definitely. That was double-edged. Both sides of the face.
Double entendre.
So, if you didn't hear that correctly, you should definitely rewind back and listen once again. Evan has got some golden things for you there.
Yeah, I think the most important is find what works for you. Try all of them. What works for one bearded man is not necessarily it's probably the right thing for him. It might not be the right thing for you.
Wise words. And humble
But
ones.
most importantly, grow that beard.
Grow the beard.
Yeah.
Some people have patchy parts of the beard. What would you say to them? Encouraging words, Evan.
Don't be embarrassed about it. It's just part of your face. That's if you have a bald patch, then embrace it. Some people try to kind of grow and do a cheeky comb over, but I mean, if that's what the gods have given you, then just embrace it. Yeah. No matter how your beard looks, there's no reason to be embarrassed about it. It's just better having a beard with a massive bald patch than not having a beard. There's just no denying that.
That is true. Embrace it.
Good. Encouraging words from a master.
So great recommendations this week. But we have to end it sometime, and it's time for the outro. And we have a special outro this week with Norwegian lessons.
Oh, yes, we've got some great requests from people about more language lessons, and what more can we do than to give you a Norwegian lesson this week?
So first up is of course beard in Norwegian. Evan?
Beard in Norwegian, quite a normal pronunciation would be skjegg.
Like shag.
And then you can
in British
like
English.
shag.
Yeah, pretty much like shag, but you have to probably shorten the G a bit. Shag.
Shag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shag.
Like if you're having a shag, don't shorten it. But when you're pronouncing shag, make it short and snappy.
Great.
Great stuff indeed.
Nice shag.
In Swedish, Jacob.
Oh, so in Swedish it's skägg.
Nice. Of course, I know that. But I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced on the West Coast,
Oh,
Mr.
Samuel.
Captain Fawcett.
All right. For you guys out there, here on the West Coast we say skägg.
And in a sentence,
Ta hand om ditt skägg, grabben.
great.
Okay.
But
That's roughly take care of your beard, mate.
when you come to Norway, you can't just go around saying skägg or shake all day long. So you have to increase your vocabulary. Evan, do you have any other words for us that you can teach us?
Well, a common occurrence is when you come to the airport or at the border and you see a police dog on a leash there. So a lot of people have requested what is a male dog on a leash in Norwegian. And in my dialect, where I come from, that is known as a hannhund i bånd. And allow me to repeat that in case you didn't get it the first time. That's hannhund i bånd. It's a difficult concept for a lot of our Eastern Norwegian people like Jacob and Samuel, but it's an important lesson to learn. And yeah, if you ever encounter a male dog on a leash, you now know how to properly reference hannhund i bånd.
So
Right.
if I would say, oh look, that's a male dog on a leash, I would say,
Hannhund i bånd.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, or the full sentence would be, der har du en hannhund i bånd.
oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sure it'll come very useful for you when you go
I will
tournaments in Norway.
I will make a note of that, and I will
Yeah.
distract all of my opponents while playing Thrones, especially when they marshal the Hound.
True.
Oh,
Or any of the direwolves.
Oh,
Well, except
der har vi en
Lady, yes.
hannhund i bånd.
Yeah.
Right, with that short segment, I think we'll have to end this week's episode. And thank you very much, Evan. It was a pleasure
Thank
talking
you very
to you.
much for having me.
And having a great look at your beard. So, Samuel and Andreas, what is it that we usually say?
I don't know.
Wax your tips, tip your waitress,
Yep. That's it. Wax your tips, tip your waitress.
stay safe, and shave safely.
Don't shave.
Thanks, guys.
Laters.